Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. And Yvette Black, thank you so much for being here first. And wow, Stephen Black. It's true. Black people really do all know each other. Well, see how y'all hang out together? First person, second person. All right. Well, anyway, keep hope alive. Um, uh, Black is beautiful. I am somebody. Sherry Ware, thank you so much for being here. Hello, Susie161, Janice Goodrich, Tara Lovett, Elvis Minot. Am I saying that right? Are the T's silent? Minot? Is that French? Beverly Jackson. Okay. Well, anyway, let's get on with it. Now, as you know, there has been all of this leading up to the Sussexes' return to Narnia, or return to Salt Island, or return to Middle Earth. You name it. There's all kind of colorful ways to describe it, but some people just call it home, and we should respect that because home is home. So anyway, they arrived today. Let's see here. Let me go to the next slide. Before we talk about that, though, please send out some prayers to Nepal and Tibet because of that horrific wave. There was a flood, a wave of water flooded an entire valley. And I'm not going to just show you a bunch of random photos of the tragedy because you probably have seen it already, but it's no telling how many people were lost and missing and it possibly never will be seen again, which is quite tragic. But it's looks all, you know how they always say something looks biblical. This, much like the tsunami um, that struck the Pacific Rim, this very much seemed like something out of a sci-fi movie or something like that. You almost couldn't believe it. And of course, nowadays, because of HD videos, everything looks that much more real to you, as though you're looking at a live image rather than something that was recorded hours ago. So, but it did happen. The point is, it did happen. Hi, Heather Stroud, Pamela Porter. Um, so it is a real tragedy. I mean, just a few minutes difference for hundreds or thousands of people. I'm not even sure what the numbers are, but they did say that there were maybe just over 50 Americans that are missing and unaccounted for. But wow, the force of nature is something that should never be underestimated. So there's that, and then we lost Tim Curry today, star of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and well, much more. He also was 80 years old. The actor's gift of garish eccentricity was indelibly appropriate for the outlandish cross-dressing mad scientist Frankenfurter. Um, yeah, I love that song from the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which, of course, became like a real cult favorite. People would go to that late night theater and act out scenes from the movie. And anyway, it's a great movie to watch with a group, especially if everyone knows the lines and knows the songs. It is one of those kind of movies. So, um, yeah, too bad. Tim Curry passed away. Um, but you know, he had had a stroke some time ago, And let me use this as an opportunity to say aspirin therapy. Aspirin therapy. There are not many of us that the doctors would say, oh, you should not take a baby aspirin, especially if you're over 40, if you're about to take a long flight. Do check with your doctor. But I tell most of my friends and family over a certain age, please do the aspirin therapy. Even if you do have a stroke, maybe it won't be as bad as it could be, or heart attack or something like that. So I don't want to give medical advice unlicensed, but the aspirin therapy, it costs so little, and the benefits, well, it can be life saving. So, not to say that that would have made a difference for Tim Curry, but it is just a reminder. Some of you all are, some of us are kind of up in years, and well, we've um, we've been around the block many, many, many times. Some of us more than others. Where's Church Nelly? Speaking of been around, speaking of been around the block, where's Church Nelly? I don't know why she always comes to mind when I think of that. Anyway, uh, okay. So seriously though, all right. Okay, so then yes, that. Oh, oh, I didn't know you were here. I didn't know you were here. Oh, yeah, that was a Freudian slip of some sort. uh, anyway, that happened today as well. So the Sussexes back in the United Kingdom. And I love this graphic that I don't know which paper or magazine created this, but Harry and Meghan popping out of a suitcase. Are we really doing that? Are we really doing that? As though someone should have a phobia of opening a suitcase because Harry and Meghan might pop out of it. Anyway, there are so many people that are so relieved and glad that they're back. Now, as for the security, there has not been any obvious presence of security. However, do not take that to assume that they are alone and unprotected, because I could assure you that they are. But we don't know the entire arrangements for now. And really, for security to be effective, we should not know every detail of it. So I'm not going to assume that they have everything that they want and require and deserve, but I'm not going to allow myself to believe that they are vulnerable. I just don't want to feed into that negative thought, because it 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 well, I'm not saying that it will manifest or anything because you have that thought, but I just don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm going to trust those two adults that are very privileged people that have plenty money, um and also they have a great deal of privilege as well. So I'm going to trust them to have worked this out. um can't tell you guys what to do or how to think, but I'm just saying, please be open minded. By the way, you guys, has anybody heard from Rohini? Has anyone heard from Rohini? I have not seen her here in ages. Has she been on any other channels or something? Let me know. I'm just curious. I started worrying about people when I don't see them. I mean, I don't mind that people take a break because I think everyone should, but um, it's kind of like a family, and I care about my family. So it would not be a Royal Sussex without the occasional sound bite. So we are going to do a few sound bites. And what do I always say when I have a sound bite? I am going to cue this up, right? And then I say, well, I always say, and we will talk about it on the other side. Okay? We will talk about it on the other side. And of course, that is um, what's his name? Chris Ship with a P, not a T. Yes, that is Chris Ship with a P, not a T. Never do be confused with Chris. You know what I mean. You know what I'm trying to say. We don't want to confuse him like that. So let me cue up Chris Ship and we'll talk.
Right, back in the UK, Harry and Meghan and their children flew into Birmingham today to begin a new life here after 6 years living in the US. It's thought the move was sparked by the couple's desire to start Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet at British schools. Our royal editor Chris Ship is here. This all happened, well, it seemed to happen very quickly, did it?
Oh, it certainly did. I mean, what do you think? It is less than a week since we had the breaking news that Harry and Meghan were returning to the UK, 6 years after leaving the country in that very public and very dramatic fashion. And now, these are, by the way, pictures of them in Australia, because when they landed at Birmingham Airport today, nobody saw them. So they managed to get into the UK and go off to their new home, thought to be in the Cotswolds, with their two children, Archie and Lilibet. As you say, the speed of this is all being dictated by the schooling. The fact that Archie and Lilibet are in British schools, they've only just recently had the places confirmed, by the way, about like 10 days ago, and they will be starting school like a lot of English schools do, go back from their summer holidays next week. And then that's not the reason why they're here. The reason why they're here is because Meghan has a contract. I still think there's a lot of speculation out there about what it is, but I still think it is a Netflix series, a Netflix production that she's coming here for, and that's why they are here in the UK. As for the school, we don't know where it is, and I don't think you're going to have Harry and Meghan, invite the cameras in for the first day at school like William and Kate do. That's certainly not going to happen. They want to keep their children's privacy. They're going to try and keep their home under wraps for as long as they possibly can. Funny enough, Mary, the only thing we have had confirmed today, and this is really important breaking news, is that Meghan's chickens that you saw in the Netflix series are staying in California, but the two dogs are coming with them to the UK. Just what he wanted to know.
Important news, Chris. Thank you for sharing.
Are we really talking about chickens? Are we really talking about the Sussex chickens? I didn't know that was a thing. I mean, I know it's a thing, but I didn't know it was a thing that it is a thing. You know what I'm saying? The Sussex chickens are staying in Montecito. However, they are bringing the dogs. Okay? Well, I know that there are all types of emotional support animals. Some people have dogs, rabbits, a cat. What else? A consort. There are all types of emotional support animals out there. And I just told you about a huge disaster. But they have time to talk about chickens. I mean, I do know that there is a great deal of interest in all things Sussex, but chickens? This is almost like that time when Camilla Tominey was concerned about the Sussexes not having access to their what is it, a hose pipe? How do you guys say it in the UK? In the US, we say water hose. um, but that the Sussexes may be unable to saturate their garden with fresh water was of grave concern to Camilla Tominey. Uh-huh. But remember, Harry and Meghan are not relevant. They're non-working royals. They don't matter, and we should not waste our time talking about them. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that's what Chris Ship with a P, not a T, had to say. And of course, this is said aircraft. I'm not sure. I think that's either like a Bombardier or I don't know which type that is, but it may even be a Gulfstream. But that is about the size of a commuter flight. You know what I mean? Like those puddle jumpers. If you've ever flown American Eagle or United Express, those are the types of aircraft they use. That's looks like the size of the aircraft. So those can hold up to like 60, 80 people in some cases, I think. But yeah, it's a pretty sizable plane. And if it's one of those, oh God, what is that? Is it? It's not the Cessna, is it? Anyway, there's that one that all of the billionaires like Oprah has, and Tyler Perry, and even Elon Musk. That's the one that can do like just beneath the sound barrier. So um, it is a pretty impressive aircraft, and it's designed for intercontinental travel. Anyway, as Harry said, where the security of his family is concerned, he will use a private jet. And also, I do want to remind people because the Rangers have made the most out of this, but there is no um, footage, recording, writing, or anything that quotes or you hear directly from the Sussexes where they have told people, don't do as I say, or what is it? Don't do as I do as I say. In other words, you always hear this big fuss about them using a private aircraft. Most times, the Sussexes will fly commercial, especially when it's just um, Mama and Papa Sussex. And I cannot find any place where Meghan has sounded off about the environment. Now, Harry, of course, is very conscious of the environment, and I'm sure Meghan is too, but they're not hypocrites. They have not confronted the world about their use of private jets. That's the other brother. That's the father-in-law or the father. That's Charles and Willie's domain. They're the ones who tell people don't do this and don't do that. And then, of course, William will have a private jet flown to a airport so that he and his family can look responsible, even though the aircraft is completely empty. A commercial jet, no less, completely empty. So I just want to remind people, um, if you've seen a thing like that from the Sussexes, let me know. I can't find it. Now, Prince Harry, Duchess Meghan, and Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet arriving back in UK today. The family are understood to be flying into the country privately from California. Prince Harry, uh, Princess Meghan, and their children, Prince and Princess Archie and Lily. Let's see. Today, according to report, the family are believed to be flying into the country. Okay, you're repeating. All right. And then a spokesperson for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex said, this is not something we would comment on. So, in other words, in spite of everything, they have not said yes or no that they arrived today, let alone we don't know for certain that That was their plane. So there it says, pictured, the Sussexes landing at Birmingham Airport at lunchtime on Wednesday. Now, they said that this is believed to be the Sussexes' private jet. Well, one that they chartered, no doubt, but we don't know. So when people say that there was no security for the Sussexes, if we don't even know where they arrived or when they arrived, we only know that it is believed that they arrived, then how would we know? There is not going to be any type of broadcasting of the security if the security can help it, whether it's public or private security. If they can help it, part of the security itself is to be stealth. You don't want to advertise these things. So if the Sussexes were able to go and visit Queen Elizabeth that time, sight unseen, then it is possible they could have arrived yesterday. We really don't know. But I guess the Royal Rota had to pick a day, and well, anyway, why not today? So all right. Let's see. Look like somebody just tried to call me, but that's okay. I just left them a message. I just heard my phone ringing. Anyway, sorry about that. Let me go to the next one here. Hi, Miss Z. Ladies and gentlemen, His Royal Majesty King Harry, what would that be? Henry the Ninth, and the Queen Consort, Queen Meghan. Anyway, I am having fun with this, but I know that these reporters know better. You know that they know better. But just to startle and alarm some of the, shall we say, mentally fragile followers of the royal family, the royalists, the monarchists, and of course the Rangers, they have been saying things like there is a plot by the Sussexes to somehow circumvent the laws, such as they are, and to make Harry the king. That is, of course, rubbish. There's no such intent. And I am just going to go with the most used explanation. The kids are going to school. This is not permanent. The Sussexes said yesterday through a representative that this is not permanent. But in spite of that, you have some of the Rota people, the Royal Rota, they are saying that the Sussexes are committed to 15 years, that they will be there for 15 years. I noticed that they don't mention often enough that the Sussexes will keep their property in California. They won't mention it, but the Sussexes intend to keep their production company and other business based in California. This is not a permanent move. Now, I don't know what the school schedule is. I don't know. I don't even know what the schedule is in my hometown. So I certainly don't know what it is for kids going to a private school in the UK. But whatever it is or is not, this is not a permanent move. No doubt they are leasing a property, or who knows, they may actually buy it and keep it with the intention of retiring there one day. But until such time, this is not permanent. But they are using fear tactics to convince people that these Sussexes are somehow setting up a rival court and that this move is very permanent and Harry is coming to claim the throne that is his. That kind of talk is ridiculous, but it is that kind of rhetoric that gets people hurt. So I just hope things will calm down at some point, and we've heard the last of that. Hey, Joan Garcia. Now, Prince Harry should receive state protection. Now, I do believe that that is a former security officer. States should fund Harry and Meghan's security. As Harry and Meghan return to the UK, former senior royal protection officer Scott Hamer has told Sky's Laura Boondock that the state should fund their security. This is something that I have been saying for a very long time. I have said it once, I'll say it again, I've said it 1,000 times. Harry is the son of a king. And if it was any other country, or most countries, should I say, a child of a sovereign or a head of state, if you will, should have protection paid for by the government. It is just that simple. There shouldn't even be a question about it. And it disappoints me because I have been raised to believe that the British law enforcement, the British courts are exceptional, and that which other countries have based their judiciary and law enforcement upon. And yet, we see a country where someone's vindictive nature puts the son of the sovereign and his family at risk. That's just not right. Okay, so let me set this up. And as usual, we'll talk on the other side.
It's as simple as that. So, I try and keep the subjectivity out of it and just look at this objectively, in my view.
Okay, that one's not very loud. Let me see if I can boost that up somehow.
The state has a duty to protect people at risk. It's as simple as that. So, I try and keep the subjectivity out of it and just look at this objectively. In my view, is if you look at this objectively, Prince Harry should receive state protection.
With the Sussexes returning to the UK, these questions surrounding security and whether or not they should have taxpayer-funded security, so police protection when they are here, still haven't been resolved, it seems. And this has always been one of the...
Okay, I'm so sorry about that. I used the wrong volume. Here we go.
Protect people at risk. It's as simple as that. So, I try and keep the subjectivity out of it and just look at this objectively. In my view, is if you look at this objectively, Prince Harry should receive state protection.
With the Sussexes returning to the UK, these questions surrounding security and whether or not they should have taxpayer-funded security, so police protection when they are here, still haven't been resolved, it seems. And this has always been one of the big problems Prince Harry has had when it comes to, as he would put it, bringing his family safely back to the UK. He has always argued it simply wouldn't be possible without police protection, purely because they are tapped into intelligence systems. They're allowed to carry weapons, for example. Now, we know that a risk assessment has been carried out, but the outcome of that risk assessment, which looks at a person's vulnerability to threat and the amount of threat they might face, the outcome of that is still unclear. But it's very interesting hearing from Scott Hamer there. He worked for 2 decades with royal security. He worked with the king for 5 years, in the 5 years leading up to the king becoming the king just before the Queen died. He wrote protection policy. He knows this system. He says it's simply unbelievable that a meeting of what's called the Risk Management Board board should take months and months. He says it is simply a meeting of, in many cases, 3 people to sit down and discuss this. He makes a very valid point there, and he says that Prince Harry, in admitting that he's had to pay for his own security on recent trips to the UK, is in many ways showing an increased vulnerability, purely because at the moment he will not have armed police with him. Therefore, people can be aware of that, and there remains this very significant risk for him.
The state has a duty.
The sovereign grant, the £500 million every year that it costs to support the monarchy, they lowball the number by saying that it's whatever that number is. But according to Republic, who paid for an independent assessment, it's £500 million per year to support all things monarchy. Harry has offered to pay for their security, even though it would require the use of uniformed or ununiformed officers from the Royal Protection or wherever they find them. Officers that can remain tied into all of these security concerns and alerts and so on. That is most desirable. But instead, they gave Harry's security people, gave his team a number to call if they have concerns. That number connects to, I guess, a landline phone somewhere that may or may not have someone manning the phone at the time. I am so disappointed. I'm so disappointed with the UK. Not the people, of course, but the people that govern that country. It is embarrassing. This is so embarrassing. Something like this just should not even be a discussion, because it should not have happened in the first place. And the more we know that they have no protection, the more vulnerable they are because of that. And so you have to ask yourself, well, what needs to happen to make this possible? Or is that the point, that you want something to happen? I don't disagree with the Sussexes going there, even with the children, because it is necessary to secure their rights as family members. And sometimes you have to do something really bold to make a point. And sometimes you have to do this as a family. I hate that it requires something like this to force the issue, but if not now, when? But someone needs to take the great out of Great Britain, because this is embarrassing. It is really embarrassing. And people love to portray the Sussexes as unorganized and unprepared and always out of sorts, when it's actually Clarence House. and Kensington Palace. Now, there's a lot of things that Clarence House, aka Buckingham Palace, there's a lot of things they do well. A lot of things. Kensington Palace, not so much. But that being said, why drop the ball now? If you do so many things so well, why drop the ball now? You can't see it, but I'm shaking my head right now. I'm embarrassed for them. By the way, thank you very much to, let's see. Okay, I think I just got a PayPal from someone. Did I or did I not? Oh, they got so many things on this flipping menu for PayPal. Everything is trying to sell you something. So you just don't. Okay, there it is. Okay. Well, I don't want to say the name, but thank you very much. HS, and thank you, LW. And thank you, JP. I think a couple of these were from yesterday, and I just didn't notice them while I was working. Yeah, see, one says the 24th, and the other says the 24th. So thank you all very much for supporting Royal Sussex. And now a super chat on the screen. Those chickens have more personality and are more interesting than the British royal family. Well, thank you very much, Kavan Slims, for pointing out something that is becoming increasingly obvious, that the chickens seem to get out more than most of the royals do, especially Will and Kate, who rarely leave the sofa. But thank you so much for the super chat. Okay, let me. Okay. What's that? Church Nelly says, get ready. Enraged and aged will have to appear working more. So enraged, that's William, and aged, of course, that is Kitty. That is Miss Kitty. Okay, here we go. So this young man right here, I always trust anybody with a do-rag. I just do. Okay, now he had a thing to say, and I'm going to share it right now.
Let's say one thing. Out of everyone from the royal family, I don't even give a toss about the royal family like that, respectfully. But out of everyone from the royal family, if they gave me an option to invite one member of the royal family to the cookout, it's going to be Prince Harry. Let me tell you why. You see, Prince Harry, he takes after Prince... Wait, hold on. I think I mumble-jumbled my words. You see, with Prince Harry, he takes after his mum. He seems like the cool one. He is the cool one. You could just tell he's down for the people. He's with the people. He gets with the people. He understands the people. Even though, yes, he's in a position where basically he's on top and we're all beneath. Basically, that's how it is. Like, you're the royal family. You're the royal family. But he don't see us that. He sees himself as human, like as if everybody else. And I highly respect that about him, you know. And I've seen like the videos and stuff how like they're trying to, like, the media try to make him like the outcast and stuff, especially with him dating Meghan Markle as well. I try not to get too much into it because, like I said, it's not really my portion of content that I really talk about. But I just was like, it was interesting to me because I was deep in it. Like, apparently him and Meghan are returning to the UK and people are asking, should they return back to the family? And it's like, the fact that people are getting so mad at people that they don't even know is actually crazy. Like, again, it's all to do with the parasocialness. Like, we talk about like Love Island and we talk about all these other shows that people get parasocial about. You lot are also parasocial about the royal family as well, because like, you're not part of the family. So why do you care so much who Harry is dating and who he's seeing? It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, Like I said, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but the way you lot bully Meghan Markle on this internet, I won't quite understand it.
Did you hear that? Light-skinned Harry is invited to the cookout. Harry is welcome to go to the cookout. Not Willie, not mediocre Middleton, none of those people. Certainly not Godzilla herself. None of those people are welcome, but Harry is welcome to come to the cookout. That is serious business where I come from. If you can go, it's kind of like that thing of going to Balmoral. If they invite you to Balmoral, that is evidence of a more close and meaningful relationship with the family. Well, if you're invited to the cookout, if we can trust you not to put any raisins in the potato salad, then you're welcome to come. Yeah, if we trust you to season the food, then you're welcome to come. Okay? Okay. Zandy Sussex, by the pricking of my thumb, something wicked this way comes. The witches. Okay, well, I'm going to guess those people in the background. That is probably Sophie. It's got to be Camilla and maybe Afro Annie. Yeah, they're back there brewing something. They are back there brewing something. So this is from Senior Lieutenant Zandy Sussex. Created that. It's striking, really. William and Kate aren't even king and queen yet, and already they've done catastrophic damage to the British monarchy. Jealousy and an unchecked hunger for power are a centuries-old tragedy. William and Kate are a Shakespearean tragedy. Yeah, they are a Shakespearean tragedy, which is why Zandy referred to them as the Macbeths. Power hungry they are. And if you've ever seen that, I guess it's a movie which is based on a play, and it is called Charles III, King Charles III. Is that what it was called? And it is a story of someone like King Charles who lives in a country just like England, and there's a Will and Kate, there is a Harry, and it's so ironic that the character Harry falls in love with a black woman. He wants to marry her. Now, of course, it's one of those movies where you can tell it was probably a play before it was a movie. But anyway, it was really interesting. And I think I had to do a pay-per-view to see it. I had to pay for it, but I did not want to miss that because of the parallels to real life, including Charles. When they made this play, it was at that time when they thought Charles was going to go rogue and have like some big falling out with Parliament, right? So I won't give away the movie, but they thought there would be some big falling out with the Parliament. And so that is what the movie is based upon, is that all of the things that they feared about King Charles' reign was played out in the movie. And as they say, art imitates life. So check it out if you get a chance to see it. But I do believe it's called Charles III. Anyway, cheers to Zandy Sussex for this very cool, I guess it's like an AI image. But yeah, that pretty much looks like the the Welleses. This is their off time face. That's not their game face. That's not how they try to appear to the public. You have to catch them in their unguarded moments, and that's exactly what you see. Now, Prince Harry paid damages over photos of his Oxfordshire home. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex forced to move out of house after security threatened. That was from 7 years ago, right? You may remember they were renting a property that is in the Cotswolds, and that property was actually in the center of, I don't know, 2 or 3 other properties. It was situated in a way that it was surrounded by another property or 2, and that there should have been no reason for someone to just walk up to the house, right? Okay, you can't walk up to the house. So I believe it was it Splash Magazine? It says here, if Harry and Meghan are indeed planning to live in the Cotswolds, we know they'll be very happy because they've lived there before and love it. Harry also spent a large chunk of his childhood in the area and has deep ties to it. They were forced to leave their previous Cotswold home after the toxic British media chartered a helicopter and took aerial photos not only of the outside, but directly inside their home, including their bedroom, living room, and dining room, once again accomplishing their safety and security, compromising rather, their safety and security. How could anyone feel safe when even if it's just a small percentage of the layout of your home, like, okay, this is the bedroom, that's the living room. If that is exposed to the world, then if there's someone with nefarious ideas, then they kind of know where to enter. You understand what I'm saying? So that put them at risk. The whole point of the home was so that they could leave Kensington Palace, they could leave that Nottingham cottage, and Harry could have room to stand up straight and not have to duck through the threshold of some ancient cottage. It was to give them a chance to have their own place. And so eventually the Queen gave them a very late wedding present, and that was Frogmore, which we already know the disaster that was. But anyway, that article is still available. Let's see here. If I have it handy here, I will give you the link for it, which I do not. But the article is in The Guardian. So I guess you can screenshot the title and find it from there if you're interested in the article. But what a crappy thing to do. What a terribly crappy. What are you gaining from that? What are you gaining from that? It demonstrated a complete lack of respect for Harry and Meghan's safety. It was a demonstration to the world that they were not important enough to have any type of anonymity or protection away from court. It's pretty pitiful. Now, I did a thing with Tina Brown with these people here. The rest is entertainment, whoever they are. But let me share with you something else that they gave us.
Why have there been so many stories about them? Why has there been all this stuff? And it's like, the fact is, everyone says they're not interested in them. They are. that this does more traffic than you can possibly imagine. There's a reason that it's at the top of everyone's newspapers.
It's like saying, why do people keep writing about Manchester City and Liverpool?
Yeah.
Because most people don't care.
Nobody
You think,
cares.
oh, definitely most people don't care, but the people who do care really, 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 really care.
Okay, so yeah, that was it. If they're not important, then why do the people keep reading about them? Why are people continuing to talk about them? It's interesting. From yesterday, I shared a thing with you where I believe the woman said she was in Rome, and she, being an American, she said, I recognize racism when I see it. And she, well, let me see here. I think it might make sense for me just to share it with you. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Let's see if I can grab that really fast. I believe it was at the end of it yesterday. Oh, no, it was the day before that. Okay. So I'll grab that and then we will just have a discussion. This lady right here. This lady. It's a little long, but I found it very interesting. I hope you did too.
In Rome a couple of years ago, and I'm with my best friend, and we're walking around, and we want to sit somewhere outside and have a glass of wine and like a little snack. So we find this lovely little restaurant where they've got tables outside, and of course the tables are all like on top of each other. There was this one table with 2 seats, so perfect for us, and there was a guy in his 30s and he was with a woman, and she was probably in her 30s, and a little dog. And we said, hey, do you mind if we sit here next to you? And they said, oh, no problem. And they're British, right? That was my British accent. And so we sit down, and the guy starts chatting us up. And he's like, what are you doing here? And we begin a conversation, right? The friends, we figure out quickly they're best friends, and they've come for a long weekend to Rome. And the friend is very reticent to engage with us. She sort of has like poopy face and is kind of, you can even tell by her body language, she's sort of taken pulled her body back because she doesn't want to engage with us. And at some point, he's like, well, what are you doing here? And we said, well, we're actually getting ready to leave. We're taking the train to Florence, and then we're doing like a Tuscan vacation. We'll be with a group of people. And he said, how long is that? And we were like, oh, we'll be here for a week. And at this point, the woman decides to engage. And she goes, a week? And we're like, yeah, we're here for a week. And she starts laughing, and she says, you Americans are so ridiculous. And I'm like, excuse me? And she said, why would anyone just go somewhere for a week? And I wanted to say, bitch, you're here for a long weekend. Kiss my ass. And I don't say, of course I don't say that, right? I have manners. And we're just kind of like, hee hee ha ha. At some point, the royal family comes up. This is why I'm making this video, because I heard yesterday that Meghan and Harry are moving back to the UK, and my prayer is that they never cross paths with these 2 humans. So at some point, the royal family comes up. And as we're talking, he says something about Meghan and Harry being in the United States, in California. And we're like, yeah. And I have no skin in the game. I do not love Harry and Meghan. I do not hate Harry and Meghan. I think they are people. I did really enjoy Harry's memoir, but I'm in no club on this. And he starts talking the most vile, mad shit, just short of saying what I know he wants to say. I know what you want to say. I'm not stupid. I'm an American. I can sniff out a racist, you idiot, you wanker. And he doesn't go that far. He doesn't say that. But the vitriol that they had for that woman, because she has ruined the royal family. She has brainwashed Harry. I mean, went on and on and on. And I just remember sitting there thinking, what a strange thing to feel so passionate about. Just two people living their lives saying, hey, like, we don't want to do this anymore. I didn't sign up for this job. I think we're going to go to the United States for a couple of years. And they just went on and on. Needless to say, we did not exchange information. I did not follow these idiots on Instagram. I did not enjoy my time with those two people.
You know, that's not the first time that I've heard people take their hate on vacation. I repeat, people actually take their hate on vacation. They're on vacation. And if the topic, anything of the sort comes up, and there are people who think they know the whole story and that they got it all figured out, and they will just blurt out the darndest things. Although I am encouraged by this lady, because here's the thing. Living in the age that we do now, there's a lot of people that used to be more like her, that they were not afraid to call out racism wherever they found it. But now there are some people that they have changed camps, they have switched sides, they are going to the dark side, if you will, and that is unfortunate, and it's also very disappointing. But I give her a lot of credit for calling it out when she's see it, and not pretending otherwise, and not joining into a chorus of a negativity. But it is shocking to people, as she said, the vitriol, that just hearing someone's name and all of a sudden, the whole body language changes. It is very sad. It's so disappointing that is a thing. And it's so counter to what I was hoping for when I stood in that group of people, in that crowd of people, watching the carriage go by on the wedding day. It's gone so terribly wrong since that day. So all these years later, it is still monumentally disappointing that this is where we are right now. But it's also part of a culture war. So you have to keep in mind that there is a culture war, and that people are looking for whatever ammunition they can find. But this level of scrutiny, this type of bullying, massive bullying, and if you wait long enough, you will hear some of the media types, like a Jeremy Vine, express how frightened he was that there was someone who was stalking him, not even in person, but electronically stalking him. And he thought this person might say something that would cause him bodily harm from some crazed lunatic or something. And yet, every day, Jeremy Vine has a platform where he can call out people that are fanning the flames of hostility against Meghan, against Meghan's children, against Meghan's husband. He could do that. But instead, he plays this little pantomime, this theater that he calls a talk show, where everyone has a role to play. And he does nothing. He does not exercise any responsibility. So anyway, cheers to her. And so there you have it. I found this image of the newspapers, and then I added the names of some of the tabloids along the side there. I think I used this as a thumbnail in the past or something like that. But it really says so much, because you see Meghan's eyes peeking out from the fold of the paper. And then you see what is supposed to be these very time-honored traditional British newspapers and the very height of civilization and good breeding from the owners of these papers, and yet their biggest commodity is gossip and fear mongering, and of course, let's not forget racism. Hey, Legs. Legs says, right. Oh, that's for Church Nelly. That's okay. All right, I'm going to keep going here. Let's not forget the Grand Pacific Hotel. This is where it all really started, isn't it? Should I say the hate campaign? There was already a lot of cloak and dagger stuff going on behind the scenes. We know that. But it was this moment when the Sussexes were pretty much the spiritual king and queen of the monarchy. They could do no wrong. Everyone was hungry and thirsty to see them or spend time with them or to touch them. And oh, what this must have looked like back in Kensington Palace. Oh, what they must have thought about this. It breaks my heart knowing that Harry was naive enough to believe his family. I do believe that the family made promises to Harry that we're going to get it right this time. But the thing is, they also made a promise to William. And when it comes to William, yeah, they got it right. When it comes to Harry, not so much. As a matter of fact, I would even go on to say that William is one of the reasons why it's gone so wrong. Spite, jealousy, whatever you want to call it. And I know this is going to be controversial, but I'm just going to say what I believe. And that is, those people sitting at the cafe did not arrive to that mindset on their own. Most people have not arrived to this on their own. The same kind of dark forces that repeat over and over again that Barack Obama is a Muslim. Barack Obama was born in Jakarta, Indonesia. Barack Obama never graduated from university. All of those things that have been repeated over and over again, right? And of course, the terrible things that have been said about Michelle Obama. And they say if you say something enough, people will believe it. All you got to do is just keep repeating it. And so if you're, let's say, a simple-minded person who are subject to suggestion, and over again, the media that you trust is telling you that something is not right about this person. I just don't trust this person. It should be no one's surprise. No one should be surprised at all that you can be in a cafe somewhere in one of the most beautiful places in the world, the Eternal City, and you have these two psychopaths these two people who have come from the short end of the gene pool that believe everything that they've heard. People don't get that way on their own. It's conditioning. It's brainwashing. And it's going to work on some people and some people it's not. Like this lady said, I'm not having a love affair with the Sussexes. I enjoyed the book. Well, the book was a lot of things to a lot of people. Not everybody loved every part of Spare. But there was enough there to satisfy most people who actually wanted to hear Harry's story, because there was just so much behind the scene information about the monarchy that by itself made Spare very valuable. But there is still enough gaslighting, brainwashing, enough conditioning of people's thoughts out there that you can always have 50% of the people say, oh, I think I like Coke. And the other 50% is going to say, I like Pepsi. And that's just the world that we live in. And there's nothing that we can do about that. We can speak truth to power. We can set the record straight. We can do all those things that are necessary to tell the truth as we see it. But it's not necessarily going to change hearts and minds. It takes a lot to do that. That the Sussexes are unpopular to some people is a demonstration that they care enough about the world to put themselves at risk, like Harry with the African parks. With everything that happened over the years, it was assumed that Harry would just leave, and he did not. He stayed. He stayed for 10 years before he stepped away, even though he said he's going to continue to maintain a relationship. But for whatever reason, Harry stepped away from the African parks. But I applaud him for staying for so long, because that shows conviction. And a lot of people would not have lasted that long, especially most people do not receive the scrutiny that Harry receives. So I think he was very brave. All right, let's go on to something a little bit lighter. And that, of course, is jam. As we know, Meghan went out to go through the orchard. We weren't sure exactly what she was doing, but I didn't know if it was peaches or apples or what. Well, it turns out it was apples. And if you have not made your purchase, now is the time, because the apple butter, what is it? Spice apple butter spread is available now. I purchased some myself. Let's see. Oh, no, that's the blackberry. Yeah, no. She did do one for no, actually, that was a very short video, wasn't it? Okay. So let me try this. Oh, yeah, that's it right there. There it is. Got it. Oh, quick question. Why did the chicken cross the road? So he wouldn't have to listen to Kate Middleton talk about the early years. Let's see. Do I have a rim shot? Let me see here. Well, I got a drum roll. Well, that'll have to suffice. Okay, but yes, that is the spiced apple butter spread. Spiced apple butter. And of course, you're getting the spicy taste from the cinnamon. I ordered 3 jars, which I'm going to share with my family, but I ordered 3 jars. And while I was there, just to complete the free shipping, I went ahead and ordered another jar of the blackberry, because I got a feeling that when the blackberry is gone, it's going to be gone for a while. So if you are wild about the blackberry, I would suggest that you go ahead and order it because I got a feeling that it's going to go the way of the apricot, that it's going to be a seasonal offering. So um, let me see here. Antoinette Kennedy say, I ordered the trio spiced apple butter. Yep, me too. I got the trio. Let me see here. Blackberry is wonderful. What? You missed it? It's not sold out, is it? I don't think it's sold out. I think it's still available. Or are you saying you just didn't see it? Okay. Listen, Church Nelly, just imagine what I'm thinking right now. It's just as fun. Okay. So yes, hmm. And that's the trio right there. You get that wonderful gift box. You know, the bad thing about having those great gift boxes is that the quality of the box is so great that you never want to throw them away. And even if I use them for gift wrapping of things, yeah, I don't, I actually ask, can I have my box back? You know, I'll leave it in the box just long enough, but sometimes I want my box. I will wrap it and have it all beautiful and everything, but I kind of want my box. So is that tacky or what? Joan Garcia says, I ordered Megan's cinnamon apple butter. It reminds me of my grandmother's. Her orange marmalade is better than the one I had growing up. Wow. Okay. Thank you so much for the super chat. Well, the other day I was at it again and I did make some of those cookies. I was blessed with a box of the shortbread cookies or butter cookies. I forgot what Megan calls them. And so I finally made them. Oh, they were so delicious. Let me show you the picture. Okay, come on, picture whenever you're ready. And there it is. There it is. Those are the cookies right there. I used apricot, blackberry, and the raspberry. So I had 3 different flavors. I actually have some, I think I have like 4 jars open in the refrigerator right now. I have the orange marmalade, the blackberry, the raspberry, and the apricot. I had to finally open my last apricot that a dear friend gave me. I had to finally open it because I was scraping at another jar for the longest. You know, those jars have what, 6 corners? It's amazing how much you can still get out of that jar even when it looks empty. But I finally had to open that up, and I'm going to say that apricot is still my favorite. And next to that is the raspberry, then the blackberry, and then the orange marmalade. Yeah, I'm going to put it in that order. I still didn't order the matches. I think you have to buy more than one candle to get the matches. I would have gotten a candle today, but if I can just do one candle and get the matches, then I will. But oh, I want those matches so bad. but I think I'm gonna have to let that one just slip by me because I I I have plenty candles right now, and I don't want to buy more if I already have some. But I tried to contact them. I was like, hey, can I just buy the matches? And they were like, nah, we don't actually do that. I'm like, okay. Anyway, so you can make these cookies even if you don't have Megan's wonderful cookie mix, but you can make these cookies also. Any like butter cookie, sugar cookie will suffice, and you just you do your thing, and it's bliss. It is absolute bliss. Look at this. Mom, look at that. It's like a stick of butter in every bite. Every light, flaky bite of those cookies, the way they crumble on your tongue is just incredible. Mmm. And then, of course, the way that the spread bakes into the cookie. I think I did an okay job. And how about the cookies are gone already? Oh, I laid waste to those things in like 2 days. 2 days. I could not walk past them without grabbing at least two. So delicious. So the apple cinnamon, or I'm sorry, the what is it? Spiced apple butter. I think I'm going to do that with crumpets. I don't think I want to use that on a cookie. That is definitely for the for a crumpet. And they do sell crumpets at Trader Joe's. Hi, Hazel Jones. Now, let's go on to someone that I am going to miss terribly. I loved me some Dolly Parton. You have no idea. Dolly Parton was honored by the Tennessee National Guard, I believe it is. If you are not from the US, you may not know about this, but all 50 states have a state militia, just like in the days before the War of Independence. There were state militias. Virginia, Massachusetts, they all had their own state militias. Well, the National Guard honors Dolly Parton, a proud daughter of Tennessee and a true friend of our guardsmen. Dolly supported service members through USO programs and base visits, bringing joy to guardsmen at home and around the globe. And on September the 8th, 2004, the 134th Air Refueling Wing unveiled Miss Dolly nose art on the KC 135 at McGee Tyson ANGB, whatever that is. I guess that's Air National Guard Base. Yes, that's it. Air National Guard Base. She was preceded by her husband of nearly 59 years marriage, Carl Dean, who served 2 years stateside in the Army National Guard during the Vietnam era. Fair skies, Miss Dolly. Fair skies, Miss Dolly. So yes, Dolly Parton. And when they say nose art, of course, you can see the image behind Dolly Parton there on the right side. Well, that is the nose of the aircraft. And so they refer to that as nose art for the nose of the plane. And Dolly looks fantastic. That is very much an outfit that reminds me, of course, of World War II and all of the USO stuff. So pretty cool. But yes, Dolly Parton has entertained the troops all over the world. It's amazing some of the places that Dolly Parton has gone and people that she has visited at hospitals and such. She is. I'm really starting to feel the spirit of Princess Diana. I really am. I'm really getting that spirit right now. I'm feeling that energy. So, and then there's this. Is it too soon? Too soon? I don't know. Too soon? Too soon? Is it too soon to be messy? Is it too soon to point out that Dolly Parton uh, was called for an audience with her pettiness, Kate Mediocre Middleton? That's right. Dolly Parton was summoned to the Kensington Palace for a stimulating conversation with none other than Kate Middleton. That's the one on the right, dressed up like Rose Nyland from the Golden Girls. That's her on the right. And Dolly Parton was having none of it, none whatsoever. She was there to work. She didn't have time to play with kids, with children. She was there to work. And I guess that must have come as a shock to Kate Middleton, who, to be fair, she rarely ever asked people to come and visit with her, but she decided to take her chances with Dolly Parton. Maybe she thought that there was some kind of kindred spirit. Maybe she thought that she could get some pointers. I mean, after all, Dolly Parton had Jolene, and well, Kate Middleton had Rosaline. Rosaline, 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 Rosaline. Yes. All these years later, after the song Jolene was written, who knew that there was going to be someone called Rosaline? A neighbor named Rosaline. Rosaline, Rosaline, please don't take my man, Rosaline, Rosaline. I'm doing the best I can, Rosaline. Anyway, that's a conversation that is never going to happen. So Dolly Parton got invited to have tea with Princess Kate, but Dolly turned her down. Yeah, that was an article in Celibacy. According to Celibacy, what had happened was Dolly Parton has revealed the hilarious reason why she turned down an invitation for tea with the Princess of Wales. The country singer, who was 77 at the time, explained she received the coveted invitation from Kate Middleton while she was in London for work. Work. She was working. She didn't have time to sit around with Kate Middleton because she has to work. Most adults work, except for Kate and Willie. Anyway, while sharing her love of the capital, the Jolene singer admitted she almost brushed shoulders with the residents of Buckingham Palace, but unfortunately couldn't go. Dolly said during an appearance on BBC Radio 2, this time, Lordy. Okay, let me do my Dolly Parton impersonation. Well, this time, Lordy. I can't do it. I even got invited to have tea with Kate, but I couldn't even go. I thought it was a very sweet and nice of her to invite me, and one of these days I'm going to get to do that. That would be great. Then Dolly Parton style, she cracked a joke as to what made her decline Kate's invite. She said, but she wasn't going to promote my rock album, so I had to say no. uh, She explained her regret at not having explored more of the city while on tour, but concluded that she didn't ever have enough time to play tourists. So let me tell you guys, that is a little bit of a dig, because if it was Meghan and someone had a new album, a visit with Meghan would have really pushed the sales of that album into the stratosphere. But Kate Middleton, not so much. You could barely make lunch money out of the profits from a Kate Middleton visit. So it really didn't make sense for Dolly Parton to go and visit with Kate, because it would have been a zero sum game. She would have received absolutely nothing out of it. It wouldn't have been logical to take yourself away from the work of promoting an album, visiting with someone who just doesn't have that kind of clout. So, I'm sorry, I was trying to fix something here. Can you blame Dolly Parton for declining the offer to visit? I certainly don't. Country music superstar Dolly Parton is currently in the UK to promote her new album, Rockstar. While there, she was invited to tea with Kate Middleton, but couldn't go. This time, Lordy, I even got invited to have tea with Kate. I feel so bad. I couldn't even go. I had all this stuff set up. She continued. I thought it was very sweet and nice of her to invite me. On one of these days, I'm going to get to do that. That would be great. Now do you see why I love Dolly Parton? Such a very sweet level of shade. Oh, BlackBerry was sold out earlier. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Thank you so much for the super chat. And Lex says, did Kate call Dolly? Maybe something was lost in translation. Maybe if someone sent a letter, or if she had a translator. Exactly, because Dolly Parton's very sweet Appalachian accent, offset by the that gibberish that comes out of the Princess of Wales. Yeah, I could see how problematic that could be. And Dolly Parton never really wanted to correct people, or, say, what you say? What was that? Come again? She just had to decline. Can you blame her? Okay, well, thank you very much, Legs, for the super chat. And Lydia Washington says, congratulations to Anastasia Isabella on the birth of her son. Baron, we have a new squatty. Cheers to that. And cheers, congratulations, Anastasia Isabella. And I think that Baron is a perfect name. I really do. I think it just rings. It sings. It does. It sings. Well, cheers, and let's do this. Okay. Rosaline, Rosaline. Oh, you guys, it was all over the news. It really was. Everybody talked about that Dolly Parton invite. Everybody. Let's see. What did Celebici say about it? Well, Celebici shared that today. Back in the day, Angelina Jolie loved being in London, and she did a lot of work there. She was made a dame by Queen Elizabeth II for her work with refugees and survivors of assault, violence, kind of assault, if you know what I mean. She ended up having meetings with Queen Camilla, the Queen Consort, the Archbishop of Canterbury, and she had tea with Prince William and Kate. This post isn't about Angelina, but I was reminded of the tea back in 2015 because it was so random. It sounded like William and Kate cold called Angelina and Brad Pitt and invited them to Kensington Palace for no other reason than to stargaze. It made me wonder how many other celebrities William and Kate have desperately tried to meet, only to be turned down. It looks like Dolly Parton is one of those celebrities. The coveted invitation, like we have no idea how frequently or infrequently William and Kate entertain, but as a longtime royal watcher, it definitely feels like they don't have many friends and they aren't socializing or throwing parties, nor are they known for being particularly nice or generous hosts. They practically turn the lights off and hide out when the pre-BAFTA dinner is held at Kensington Palace. How many times did they mooch dinner off of Harry and Meghan? I do wonder if Kate and William have invited many celebrities to Kensington Palace and they get turned down a lot. Anyway, Dolly Parton is an American treasure and her work ethic is unparalleled. She would be shocked by the lazy duo. Ah, so yeah, that was a 2023 article by Celebici when Dolly Parton had to, humbly decline to, you know, yeah, she was like, no, thank you. Okay, let's do this. We'll go to the next thing here. Now, I don't know. This is you guys. I follow Stella Parton on X, formerly known as Twitter. I follow her, and I'm always very curious, and I look at the timestamp for things that happen, and I noticed here on Tuesday, Stella Parton says, "Happy Tuesday" at 7:30 a.m. August the 25th. And this was the last thing that she's posted. So obviously, Stella is in mourning right now and away from social media, and rightly so. But it just, when I saw this, I noticed this today, and it just kind of took me back a bit when I saw that because I'm thinking, at 7 o'clock, 7:30 in the morning on Tuesday, she probably knew that her sister was unwell, but she certainly uh, could not know that she was going to lose her sister that day. So, um, but if you follow Stella Parton, you'll notice that she posts images of beautiful flowers every day, nice close up of flowers. So, um, I don't know. I just kind of felt connected to her in that moment when I saw that, because there's always those hours leading up to the sad news, and then it's like after 7:30 nothing will ever be the same again. So I was kind of touched when I saw that. And here's a picture of Stella and Dolly, and they really do look so much alike. Oh no, Lisa Stevens, you got to go. Your phone. Well, thanks for coming by to visit with us. Now take a look here. Dolly Parton's sister comes out as Meghan Markle's biggest defender. Dolly Parton's sister, Stella Parton, is defending Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, and well, defending her new show. As you can see there's another article. Dolly Parton's sister, Stella, hits out at Camilla photo. How would Meghan be treated? Now, I'm not sure what that one was. Let me see here. It says, she spoke out after a picture of Camilla stroking a dog emerged, asking, just wonderful how the British tabloids would treat Meghan if they grabbed a photo of her in this pose. So I'm not sure what that article was, but anyway, good for her. Oh, and there she says she's glad that Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, and Harry got away from that toxic waste heap. I love her. See, Dolly was the nice one. Stella was very outspoken. She left for let me see, she left for treating the Duchess of Sussex poorly. Yeah. Okay. And that was what, July the 9th, 2022. Well, she was really, really socking it to them. And that is why I follow Stella. But wait, there is more. There is more. There's another picture of Stella there on the left side. And then on the right side, there's Dolly with Venus and, and all the rest of them. But yeah, very sweet picture. Wow, you can see how tiny she is. I think Dolly I don't know how tall she was. But Dolly Parton said she started wearing heels before she even knew she was going to be a short person. And have you guys ever heard the story about Dolly Parton when she entered a Dolly Parton lookalike contest? She entered a Dolly Parton lookalike contest, and I think she came in third place or something like that. And it was a drag show contest. So it was Dolly Parton, the ultimate drag queen, with a bunch of other drag queens, and she couldn't even win her own lookalike contest. But that was the kind of person that she was. She never took herself so serious. The Dolly Parton lookalike contest. Oh, and by the way, that was at a bar in San Francisco. I mean, Dolly Parton just walks into a bar in San Francisco. She wanted to stand out against the other contestants. She made her hair bigger, her makeup heavier, and she had a very exaggerated beauty mark, they say. The crowd and the judges did not know it was her. They thought she was a short man dressed in drag. She received the least applause and did not win. Isn't that something? She received the least applause and did not win. Anyway, you gotta love her for that. And there was this moment. Dolly Parton, back in 2020. Of course, Black Lives Matter. Do we think our little white asses are the only ones that matter? No. Anyway, I'll let you hear what she had to say in her own voice.
Everybody needs to express themselves.
Okay.
I'm not out. I think think that everybody needs to express themselves however they feel they have to. I'm not out, like I said, I'm not out here to tell you what to do. I don't want you to tell me what to do, but I just do what my heart tells me to do. I ask God to direct me and lead me. And if I've got his direction, I don't have to worry too much about anything else. But I do understand people having to make themselves known and felt and seen. And of course, Black Lives Matter. Do we think our little white asses are the only ones that matter?
All right, Dolly. All right. Well, so there you go. One of the realest people, as they say, a very real person. Farewell, Dolly Parton. And she definitely will be missed. The People's Princess, although they're repeating the BS of her being dropped when the original casting rumor was never confirmed. Sigh. Well, let's hear what just a random person on the street thought about the whole thing with the Guy Ritchie and all that. Okay, are you ready, random person? Where's a random person?
Markle or her acting career? Whose side are you on?
Meghan Markle.
Should somebody with Meghan's status be able to act?
I feel like anybody should be able to act, no matter what background they come from, as long as they have the talent and they don't use their background to cheat. She is good. She has the talent to do it. I think people should focus on her and not her background.
Do you think she was dropped because of the controversy?
I do think so. What they see on the internet, they instantly believe it. They don't look for facts or anything.
We're a very gullible generation. Would you watch it if Meghan was starring?
I would.
I think we'd all tune in, wouldn't we? The People's Princess .2.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. Now, you guys, this is a very different thing. And I saw this today, and I could not help but notice how ironic it was. So I just thought I would share it with you. He asked for a mullet. He asked for a mullet. I'm sorry. Let me do that again. He asked for a mullet. A mullet, of course, that hairstyle that really became famous back in the 80s. Although I do believe it was kind of a thing back in the 70s. But in the 80s, that was the very height of the mullet. What is a mullet? Well, the mullet is a hairstyle. So picture this. This gentleman walks into the barbershop and asks for a mullet, and they gave him this. I don't know why I am seeing Betty Davis. I don't know why I'm seeing Pearl from 227. Seriously, I am seeing a combination Betty Davis and Pearl from 227. That hairstyle ought not ever come back. But some barber thought that they were giving him a mullet. Now, let me show you. This is what a mullet looks like. A mullet is a nice long, down like usually to your shoulder, especially for a guy, but it doesn't have to be shoulder length. But you want to taper the sides, you want some bangs in the front, and you want the longer hair in the back. So that way it just kind of, sometimes they'll do like a faux mullet where they'll brush the hair back on the side and kind of put combs in it to hold it up and create this, mountain of hair. Well, anyway, that's the mullet. That is the mullet. That thing that guy had was something from Middle Earth, really. Patrick Swayze, perfect mullet. And of course, Rob Lowe and George Clooney, perfect mullet. Right? That's the mullet. And then it's kind of difficult to say that, you know, all of these are mullets. Some of them, I mean, I guess they are mullets, but sometimes they don't translate as well for women. Now, if you look at Jane Fonda there on the left at the bottom, they're calling that a mullet. I call that Carol Brady. I didn't think Carol Brady had a mullet, but they're saying that Florence Henderson had a mullet, and they consider that a mullet. I don't. David Bowie, sure. Who else? Whoever that girl on the left, isn't that Blair from oh gosh, what was that show? You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both in there. Oh, The Facts of Life, right? So anyway, those are the female mullets. In some cases, indistinguishable from the men. Now, this poor guy, once people saw this video where he said, I asked for a mullet and this is what the barber gave me, listen to some of the jokes that followed. Maybe they didn't hear ye correctly. Maybe they didn't hear ye correctly. Or how about this one? Look sick, my lord. Or how about this one? How many shillings did you pay for this cut? It does kind of look like something that you would pay for with shillings, doesn't it? Did you specify which century you wanted the mullet to come from? I suppose he didn't tell him that he wanted a 20th, 21st century mullet. Or how about this? Tomfoolery in the front and knavery in the back. Now, I didn't get that one. That knavery in the back. I didn't get that one. Tomfoolery, I get that. But the other part, yeah, I didn't get that. Do you know the Muffin Man? Do you know the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man, the Muffin Man. Do you know the Muffin Man? Or how about this one? Okay, Jacob Jingle. Wait. Okay, John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith. John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith. My name is his name too. Is that how the song goes? His name is my name too. Oh, John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith. Oh, this poor guy. What happened to him? Shelly L says, oh, hell no. Give me a haircut like that and everybody's catching hands. The barber, the guy sitting next to me, the guy sweeping, everybody. I know that's right. Thank you so much for the super chat. That's right. Everybody's going down. But wait, there's more. Okay, John Jacob Jingleheimer. Oh, I did that one already. Okay. He gave you the 1-2 buckle my shoe special. He gave you the 1-2 buckle my shoe special. Or how about this one? Go to the Renaissance Fair immediately. And then there's got the little Debbie. I wasn't sure about that one. What about this one? Did you go to the barber 7 years ago? Oh, that is pretty good. That's rich. Did you go to the barber 7 years ago? And then there's, it's honestly not that bad. It's substantially worse. People are cruel, aren't they? All right. And how about this one? And you just river danced on out of there without saying a word. And you just river danced on out of there without saying a word. The bangs are a little short, but other than that, I hate it. What does your barber do for a living? You headed to your shift at the Lollipop Guild. And lastly, it's going to be okay, Hansel. People are cruel, aren't they? They are so cruel. I love it though. I think my favorite, what is your favorite? I think my favorite is how many shillings did you pay for that? I like the shillings. Let me see. What is my other favorite? I'll go through them again so you can see them. Yeah. How many shillings did you pay for this cut? Did you specify which century you wanted the mullet to come from? I kind of like the John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. And you just river danced on out of there without saying no. Oh my goodness. Where do people get this from? You know what, guys? The video itself is so funny. I didn't know if I could share it, but let me do this for you. You won't be sorry. The lady that was trying to tell the story, she was a person that I got this from. Oh my goodness, she was in tears. So I am going to, and then too, you might want to share it with someone. So let me get this for you, and then you can do with it what you will. Okay, here goes. Okay, so I'm going to pin that to the chat, but go ahead and save that because you might need to laugh one day and then you'll come across that and you can laugh about it all over again. It was a lot of fun. But I went through and I saved each one of these to share with you. We are the Lollipop Guild. The Lollipop Guild. Wasn't that the song? Wasn't it a song called The Lollipop Guild? Where they had all those little kids running around with those obnoxious knee breeches and those hairdo, like little hairdo like that. The Lollipop Guild. Let me see. Betty Davis. I'm telling you guys, that is when Betty Davis got older, she started sporting that hair. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, I only see one example of it, and not the best, but mercy. Mercy. Okay, and let me do the other one. Pearl 227. She also was sporting that hairdo for decades. She had that hairdo for decades. Only two people in the world wore that hair on a daily basis. And I'm going to say, what was her name? Helen Martin. She's the one who played Pearl from 227. She had that hairdo for her entire career. So let's do Betty Davis first. Shit. And now Helen Martin, aka Pearl 227. Was I wrong? Was I wrong? That is a woman who wore that same hairstyle for at least 50 years. Not probably longer than that. How long did she live? I'm sure as soon as she could get away with the length, she'd been wearing that same hairstyle. Oh, that's sad. But Betty Davis. Well, you aren't. You aren't ever going to sell this house. You aren't ever going to leave it either. You aren't. You aren't ever going to sell this house, Blanche. You aren't ever going to leave it either. You aren't. Anyway, so there you have it. Let me see. I screamed. I'm just, what is that? Scrumped seeing Miss Pearl. She's the winner. Yeah, I think that because, to be fair, Betty Davis didn't always wear that style. So I'm going to have to give it to Pearl, too, because Pearl had that style longer than anybody I know, at least in the modern age. Yeah. Yeah, I got to give it to Pearl. She had it on 227. And I'm trying to look at some of the other stuff she did. Oh. Wait, you guys. Wait. I got to show you this. I got to show you this. No, really, I do. This is why Pearl is the winner. This is why Pearl is the winner. Hold on a second. You got to see this. You see there? Even when Helen Martin was in her 20s, she had that hairstyle. And then fast forward to 227, all those years later, and she's still sporting that same style. So the winner for the Not a Mullet goes to Helen Martin, aka Pearl 227. Okay, there you have it. That's Pearl. Pearl, the ultimate nosy neighbor. All right. I've written a postcard to Daddy. His address is heaven above. Okay. Now, anyway, just think all of this started because this poor guy went to the barbershop for the old page. How many shillings, sir? Sir, that will be 10 shillings for your haircut. Come again. 10 shillings. You heard me. 10 shillings for that haircut. And make it fast. Otherwise, I will give you a good thrashing. I will sort you out if you don't give me 10 shillings for that haircut. Trigger warning, you guys. Trigger warning. Target has missed the target again. Target has missed the target again. It is 2026, and someone at Target thought this was a good idea. Someone said, yes, let's create a costume that looks like an old minstrel show. And to complete the look, we are going to put a child of African American descent in said costume with that big gaping smile and the tiny hat. See that? Target slammed for selling kids' clown costume resembling racist blackface minstrelsy. The company took the $25 costume off its site after the controversial design sparked viral backlash across social media. As well it should have. As well it should have. You guys, this is not an indictment on Target, but I do still shop at Target, and I have received excellent customer service from Target. But Target tries too hard. They try too hard sometimes. And when that monster got in, let me take this off the screen, by the way. Let me do this. Yeah, I'll do this one. So when that monster left the White House, or I'm sorry, when he came back to the White House and he started all that stuff about DEI, DAI, or whatever, Target panicked and they decided, oh, well, we better jump on the bandwagon and, and we'll say that we're not going to hire based on this, that, and the other. Why did they do that? Now, I have a theory about that I'm going to share with you. And that is because every year, Target goes all out for the Pride Day, right? And that caused a backlash with people from the red states, with people who are very conservative. The evangelical Christians thought that it was really poor form to sell all the rainbow stuff. But I'm not talking about for the adults. I'm talking about the children. They felt as though Target was trying to indoctrinate the children. And so Target got nervous because they were already in trouble with the right wing. And so my theory is when they had a chance to redeem themselves with the hiring practices, they took their chance. Now, you sell whatever you want to sell to whomever, and that's fine. But there is a price to be paid for it if what you're selling is seen as insensitive to some people. Now, the Pride Month has become a big national event every year for the whole of June, as well it should. But people feel a certain way about their children. And so I don't know. I'm not saying that they should or should not, but I'm just saying I believe that that is what caused a backlash among some people. And when Target tried to compensate for that backlash, they only made their situation worse. So Target needs new management, maybe. They need some sensitivity training. They need to do something, but they need to find a voice and stick with it. Either you are going to be this or you're going to be that, but you cannot be all things to all people. When you try to do that, when you don't stand up, when you don't have strength of conviction, then people are going to mop the floor with you because they know how to push your buttons and cause you to panic. But there are people who want their children to participate in the Pride Day, and that is their prerogative. So Target got nervous. This is my theory. I don't know anything 100%, but I think that they just got nervous and decided to try to placate to the conservatives and just really made a mess of things. What did Costco do? Nothing, which is why people started buying those Costco memberships left, right, and center because Costco, along with other retailers, they didn't change a thing. So there's something to be said about consistency. Some things are better quietly addressed rather than to make a big public thing out of it. Let me see here. I never went back to Target after the boycott on principle alone. I have a lot of businesses on my do not patronize list, still going strong with my personal boycott. Okay. Whenever, let me see. Whenever you do something shady, it will always comes back to bite you in the butt. Hey, soul brother, it's been a while. They underestimated the buying power of Black people. The way overestimated the MAGA people. Yeah, I'd be interested to know what the demographics are for the Target stores. But Target. Now this is the one that I'm curious about. Now I went to Target. And by the way, I've only been to Target once in the past year. And it may have even been over a year since I think it's been over. No, yeah, it's been over a year since I've gone to Target. But when I went, they had a bunch of like I think it was like Black History Month. They had a selection of things, right? And I bought I think I bought a Black is Beautiful coffee mug and something else like that I purchased. And they were on clearance, so I didn't pay a lot for them. But I'm like, okay. The thing is, I enjoy diversity, and I enjoy that a retailer will stock up for certain things given whatever time of year, the holiday. But I will say this. I do understand why some people felt a certain way about the all of the pride stuff, and that is because of the culture war. Now, for years, Target sold those products without incident, but because of the political situation we're in right now all of a sudden, everything is subject to examination. And so I think Target should have just stayed the course, right? Or either that or maybe not sell certain things in areas where you feel it may not be welcome. But at the same time, even in the most conservative areas, there's still the LGBTQ community that feel represented when they see those items. So it's really a tough position to be in as a retailer. But they need to find their voice because they've been in the business for a long time. They need to find their voice and to pick a lane and stay in it. But panicking has never solved anything. So, yeah. But anyway, let me know what you think about that theory. That's what I thought, is that they probably went too far left and tried to compensate by going too far to the right and just made a complete jackass out of themselves. Okay. Jonathan Baptista just became the first African-American principal dancer in the Pacific Northwest Ballet's 50-year history. Yeah, so in 50 years of the Pacific Northwest Ballet, this is the first time that they had an African American principal dancer. His name is Jonathan Baptista. Look him up when you get a chance to. Very interesting guy. I watched an interview he gave, and it really made me proud for him. Proud of him. Representation matters. Shaman Durek Barrett undergoes kidney transplant at hospital where father-in-law King Harold, is being treated. Yes, they're in the same hospital. If that doesn't sound like Charles and Kitty, I don't know what does. Why does this remind me of the whole situation with Charles and his dim-witted daughter-in-law in the same hospital at the same time? The only difference is, of course, I believe this is legitimate. I don't think that other situation was legitimate. I believe this one is. That other one, well, that was a bit of a farce. So, yeah, that's what I think. I believe this one is legitimate. That other situation, something just didn't set right about that. Okay, let me go to the next thing here. Well. If it isn't someone hoping to save all of her fashion contacts, that would be Kate Middleton. Well, Feminegra shared this today. Oh my goodness, that's not going to work. Let me see here. Okay, that works. Oh, all right. All right, that's okay. Now, before it was the Princess of Wales' favorite handbag, Meghan Sussex put Stratberry on the global map. And that is so true. I do recall when Meghan and Harry went to Cardiff Castle, Meghan was carrying that handbag from that you see on the left side there. And that put that manufacturer of handbags on the map, literally. Okay, let me see here. Oh, all right. All right, that's better. So a decade ago, Stratberry was still a relatively small Scottish accessory label with limited mainstream international recognition. That changed in an instant when Meghan Sussex stepped out carrying the Medi tote during her first official appearance with Prince Harry in 2017. The bag flew off the shelves. Online traffic skyrocketed 5,000 times normal. And the brand was suddenly on the global radar. Today, Stratberry is on the verge of selling a minority stake to Soho Square with a valuation approaching, you ready for this? Are you ready? The valuation of the company is approaching 100 million pounds. Yes, thanks to the Duchess of Sussex, the valuation is approaching 100 million pounds. A stunning rise built on sales that are understood to have increased fivefold since 2021. Now, you guys recall, I recently said what a shame it is that Meghan was unable to attend those outings with Prince Harry last time because of the impact she could have had on the British fashion industry, especially at a time like this when people are very selective about how they spend their money. I believe Julia Roberts said it best in Pretty Woman. Big mistake. Big, 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 big mistake. Yet as the brand prepares for its next chapter, recent British media coverage risks rewriting its royal fashion origin story. Recent coverage has increasingly foregrounded Kate Middleton's association with Stradbary, with the Times even crediting part of the company's recent success to the Kate effect. Sky News similarly led its stake sale report by describing Stradbary as the Princess of Wales's favorite handbag maker, while Meghan's earlier role appears further down the story. Make a note of that, Meghan. Make a note of that. The narrative conveniently disregarded the fact that Stradbary's global recognition did not originate with the Princess of Wales. Meghan Sussex put it on the map nearly a decade ago, but the media continues this familiar routine, downplaying Meghan's influence, inflating Kate's, and quietly rewriting fashion history as they go. The media can't resist rewriting history. It's remarkable how quickly the narrative can be rewritten when the right people are involved. But look closely at how Sky News frames the success. The headline leads with the Princess of Wales' favorite handbag maker, close to stake sale. The first paragraph describes the brand as the one counts the Princess of Wales among its high-profile customers. The article then notes Meghan Sussex also carried one of the company's bags on her first public outing after her engagement to Prince Harry. Okay. Okay, it says right here, this is what Sky News said. This is exactly what they said. Stradbary was founded by Leanne Hundleby and her husband Guy, and has seen its products become staples among several members of the royal family, including the Duchess of Sussex, who carried one of the company's leather bags on her first public outing after the announcement of her engagement to Prince Harry. That's what the Sky News article says. The article continues to affiliate links. I'm sorry, not that right there. But what I'm reading is something that says if you go use the link on the Feminagra webpage, then Feminagra earns a commission. So let me do this. I'm going to give you guys that link because we love Feminagra. So this is the link for the article. And then you can search for the link for the handbag from there. There you go. Let me pin that in place. Okay, there it is. So yeah, if you want to check out this article, you can also use that link. So it says here, read that again. Meghan is mentioned almost as an afterthought, but the Royal Association that first transformed Stradbary's international visibility was Meghan's in December of 2017. Meghan carried the tricolor burgundy navy vanilla Medi tote during her first official walkabout in Nottingham alongside Prince Harry. In February of 2018, she wore the bottle green East-West Mini, that is, crossbody during an official visit to Edinburgh. In July of 2018, she carried the tan Stradbary bridal Medi tote during the couple's official visit to Dublin, paired with a forest green Givenchy ensemble. Oh, looking good, Meghan, looking good. And well, and you can see the information at the bottom of the picture there. So 3 high-profile occasions in just 7 months, each one putting Stradbary in front of the global audience before Kate ever publicly carried a Stradbary. Meghan had already generated 5,000 times the amount of traffic surging. Also, the bag sold out in 11 minutes. The bag had sold out in 11 minutes, created enormous international press coverage, returned to the company multiple times, and helped turn a relatively small Scottish label into an internationally discussed royal fashion brand. And so it says here, Kate Middleton strikes out again. Copy Kate strikes again. Copy Kate strikes again. The media may want to frame Kate as the Stradbary defining customer, but the chronology tells a different story. Kate, by contrast, did not carry a Stradbary bag in public until years after Meghan had already put the brand on the map. Her earliest documented appearance came in December of 2020 when she carried a croc embossed Maltese chain wallet during a royal train tour in Scotland. She subsequently returned to the Stradbary clutch repeatedly during royal engagements in Scotland and formal events such as the Garter Day and Commonwealth Day. I tell you, this really stinks. I don't like this. By the time Kate got around to carrying Stradbary, the brand had already been popularized, its aesthetic validated, and its place in royal fashion cemented by Meghan. Whatever explains the overlap, the chronology has become a recurring feature of the fashion coverage. Meghan wears it or popularizes the label. Kate later appears in the same brand, and the subsequent coverage can place greater emphasis on Kate's association. Stradbary offers an unusually clear example because Meghan's original commercial impact is measurable. Now, Kate's fashion choices did not end with Natasha Archer. You would be forgiven for laying the blame at Kate's former stylist, Natasha Archer. When Archer's Instagram account became public, it showed that she followed Meghan. As ever, Daniel Martin, Delphina Blaquia, anyway, Nacho's wife, Heather Doric, and highbrow hippie, among others. The trail of connections was extensive and difficult to dismiss as a coincidence. But Archer no longer worked for Kate. She departed in 2025, and yet Kate has continued to appear in California labels already associated with Meghan's wardrobe. She wore Jeannie Kane during her visit to Italy, a label long associated with Meghan's wardrobe. Now she steps out in Rodart, another California-founded brand. These are not British heritage houses. These are not brands that naturally align with the Princess of Wales public role. If Archer was a convenient scapegoat for the copying, her departure should have ended the pattern. It did not. Well, anyway, there's a little more. Go ahead and click on that link. There's like 3 additional paragraphs. I will leave you in suspense. Now, Prince Harry and Meghan the Duchess of Sussex won't hijack Prince George's historic Eton debut, rather. Royal expert says. William and Kate's son will start Eton in September. I wasn't even thinking about George, but I guess this is George's Eton debut coming up. It shouldn't make a difference because there's not going to be some public broadcast about the Sussex children starting school. This is wishful thinking from the tabloids. As you can see, Ed says, so two irrelevant people like Harry and Meghan are already being asked to shrink themselves. And they're worrying about the Sussexes overshadowing will and won't. One of the wittiest commentators on the Sussexes, and I think her Substack is still free. So I'm not sure who that is, but I guess this is a comment from Tom Sykes. Says here, the Rotorats are scrambling to start Substacks so they can keep feeding off of the Sussexes. Sussex commentary is now an entire career field. It's not even royal commentary anymore. It's Sussex commentary. And they'll still try to convince you Harry and Meghan are irrelevant ones. They are the irrelevant ones. Lex says, complicate, colonizer Kate, mean girl evil. Thank you, Legs. She's all of those things and a few other things too. Oh, wait a minute. They should remind the Rotorats of George Star. Yes, you have to remind them because they're going to overlook it because they're going to be so busy trying to keep up with Harry and Meghan. You know, I just thought about something. They are going to start this whole thing about Harry and Meghan going to the Commonwealth Day, even though I doubt if they're going to go. But they're going to make people believe that they're going. And they're probably going to use Harry and Meghan with the Christmas Carol. Pretty much everything that barely gets views, they are going to try to make people believe the Sussexes will attend, even though they're not. Just like the will they be on the balcony or won't they? They're going to, oh my God, you guys, we are going to be bombarded by this nonsense for the very near future. Oh, that is sad. That is so sad, but it's going to happen. Okay. Oh, you know what? Was that it? Yeah, I think I'm done. That was it, you guys. 2.5 hours. Gosh, I got to stop doing that. Anyway, thank you so much for those of you who have been here the whole 2.5 hours. Especially thank you for that. Thank you for your generous and thoughtful contributions. Thank you, moderators, for keeping this a safe space. Looks like I'm losing my voice. So I'm going to say goodnight and cheers. And and I'm going to probably go on social media and look at some more of those wonderful Dolly Parton videos. There's so many videos reminiscing about Dolly Parton, and I've really been enjoying those the past couple of days. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to say goodnight to you. Love you guys. And as always, thank you for trusting me to do this work. That means more to me than you'll ever know. Okay? Cheers.